When my brother wasn't fulfilling his role as protector and elder sibling, he often had me by the throat, sometimes literally, sometimes in spirit. He knew just where to press, physically and emotionally, to shatter my fragile sense of safety. As his safety faded under the weight of teen pressures and his own awkwardness and unsafety, he became quicker to temper, and I was added to his long list of perceived enemies. Some days I think he truly hated me, but it wasn't just him. It wasn't just one incident or one person. My self-esteem was chipped away over years by many hands, each taking a piece. Most painfully and unsettlingly, there was my mother, also knowing exactly where to inflict the most pain and humiliation, would send me to fetch my own punishment, a wooden spoon, a slipper, as if to remind me of my complicity in my own pain, the tools of choice leaving welts and marks for many days. My father's unpredictable and sometimes violent outbursts, crashing through the silence like glass shattering on tile. At school, the teacher who assigned me a special project, isolating me in a corridor while my classmates moved on, oblivious. One of the many times I would be removed from others instead of taught how to integrate safely, a skill I could have done with honing. I wanted to be safe, I just didn't know how. Each moment was a thread in a vast invisible web. By the time I noticed it tightening around me, I couldn't tell where it began or where it ended. And so, I found my own way. I learned to lie. Small lies at first, then bigger ones. I lied about the pictures I'd drawn, about what I could do, about who I was. I lied to others, but mostly I lied to myself. If I could be someone else, someone brighter, more acceptable, maybe I could be loved, find safety, be worthy of the company of others. The lies felt necessary, but they had their own gravity, pulling me further and further from myself, deep into loneliness. The isolation became complete. I wasn't just separated from others, I was separated from myself. Anxiety threaded itself into my being like a silent passenger that shaped every interaction, every thought. I became the friend I needed to advise me of perceived threat. All the ones I knew at home and all the ones I felt on the edges of acceptance, devoid of guidance and tribe. This anxiety wasn't named or recognized, it simply was. Like an ever-present shadow cast by someone I only thought might be there, a dark paranoia that they were all after me. I found, in place of safety and congruence, drugs and alcohol. If I couldn't see the fear, I didn't want to feel it either. Decades passed before I was diagnosed with general anxiety disorder. 40 years of carrying something I didn't understand, something that shaped my world but remained nameless. I became an expert at pushing people away, repelling kindness and retreating into the safety of my cage. One I'd learned to stay in to avoid more pain or isolation. I chose my own safe space and stocked the bar. I didn't see that I was locking myself in deeper, hurting others with my inability to connect, all because I didn't know what I was fighting or how to fight it. The diagnosis didn't offer a solution, nor did it undo the damage. It didn't erase the lies, the walls, the years spent adrift from myself, but it gave me a lens to look back, to trace the lines, to understand. And understanding, I found, is its own kind of solace. Psychoanalyst and visual artist Erik Erikson might have seen this story as one of fractured psychological development shaped by two critical stages in his theory of growth. The humiliation, isolation, and punishment described here align with Erikson's fourth stage, industry versus inferiority. During this period, children are meant to develop a sense of competence and confidence. But when they face rejection or ridicule, especially from trusted figures, they internalize feelings of inferiority that can linger for decades. Later in adolescence, Erikson's stages of identity versus role confusion begins. A time for self-discovery and constructing an authentic identity. Yet, what happens when that self has already been hidden, locked away by years of pretending to be somebody more acceptable? Erikson might argue that the cage described here reflects role confusion at its starkest, with anxiety and disconnection growing in place of self-acceptance. For Erikson, unresolved wounds from one stage don't disappear, they carry forward, shaping how we see ourselves and the world. The shame of childhood becomes the anxiety of adulthood, and the lies that once offered protection harden into walls. Yet Erikson also believed in the potential for growth at any stage. Understanding our path isn't just about retracing steps, it's the first move towards breaking free. The Stoics might view the story through the lens of control, or rather, the lack of it. Much of life, they believed, is shaped by forces outside our influence. The actions of others, the cruelty of circumstances, even the behaviours we adopt to survive. What remains within our control, they would say, is how we respond. Epictetus, born into slavery and no stranger to humiliation, taught that while we can't control life's blows, we can control how we perceive them. It's not what happens to you, he wrote, but how you react to it that matters. For a child, this is nearly impossible. Without the tools to separate self from circumstance, every rejection, every punishment becomes personal, etched into identity. But the Stoics believed in transformation. Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. The child in this story couldn't control their isolation or the cage built by others, but adulthood brings an opportunity to reframe, to see the cage for what it is and recognize that freedom, however difficult, begins within. Ultimately, the Stoics teach that our past does not define us. The shame we carried and the lies we told, they are not us. What matters is how we choose to live now, with courage, clarity, and a commitment to align with our true nature. As Seneca said, as long as you live, keep learning how to live. But the journey of self-discovery is long and in need of friction and reflection. 2 things I'd learned to avoid and feel safer without.